What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream. Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out RV Daydream, and I think we're finally into spring. I mentioned before that we were supposed to have some sort of a cold snap that was going to happen April 5th, 6th. The weather modeling has changed. The forecasters are all saying that's not going to happen, which is great. Right now, for the next 4 days, we have highs in the 60s, and then 5 days after that, the highs are in the 50s. It's about time that I get outside. Yeah, I was stuck inside all day yesterday. I sat in a chair for 7.5 hours working on our website, and I still don't even have it halfway done. There are so many things that need to be done still. So I started working on it a little bit this morning, and Heidi texted me from work, and she said, you need to go outside. It's nice out, and do some work out there. So that's what I'm doing. I'm listening to her. What I think I'm going to do is add a brace to my gray water tank, and I want to talk to you guys about that and something you may want to look at on your RV. So let's get underneath there and take a peek at it. This is my gray water tank, and then back here you can see that's my black water tank. Now, what I'm talking about as far as a brace is something like this. You can see there's a brace that goes down the middle of this big, long, huge gray water tank. It's not really too big. I think it's 45 gallons. But you can kind of tell that there's a bow to it. Now, when it gets warm out and this tank gets full, that drop happens even more. It's not too much of an issue as far as the tank wanting to fall out of the RV or something like that, but on some RVs they don't have this cross support, and that's a good possibility that something like that could happen. I would just think that it might be a concern that if the tank was full or close to full and we were towing down the street and we didn't have a chance to empty it, maybe we were still en route to where we want to go, which isn't a smart idea because you're towing all that extra weight that this tank would hold. But as far as it bouncing up and down, and when it gets hot, and how much more pliable it would be once it gets warm. Again, I've heard stories of other people that have had that happen, and the reason is because look at all this ground that the tank is exposed to. Well, just imagine this being hot asphalt or hot road that you're driving over for hours, and not only is the friction of the vehicle rolling down the road causing the RV to become warm, but also all the heat that's being generated coming up off of the ground. So it would see a lot of heat down here and could potentially cause it to get really soft. So as far as the support, maybe I still might be doing it. I'm not 100% convinced, but I just wanted to show you this is something that you guys should be concerned with to some level, just in case. Again, just climb underneath there and take a look at yours. So I looked underneath there and I pushed up on it quite a bit, and it looks like it's staying pretty stable. So I don't think I'm going to mess with that right now because I have so many other things to do, because we still own a home like most people. I got other stuff I have to do, and today it was cleaning up all the sticks in the yard. So there's the little pile. It wasn't as bad as I thought, but we had some big branches come down out of that tree, which shocked me. So we'll get this stuff burned, and this will be my equivalent of going camping. Darn it. So I was concerned about the tires because of the way they looked, they appeared, which obviously don't make a difference. They were all within a half a pound of each other, and they were within 1 pound of what I had them set at last year. So I've got them all set to 50 right now, and we'll just leave them there because These hold at their max capacity at 65 pounds. And I don't know if I mentioned before, but these are the load range one up from what this camper actually calls for. So as far as the tires are concerned, they all look good. The first thing I do to drain this thing out is lift the front. And the reason is because the low side point for the freshwater tank is in the rear of the tank, meaning closer to the rear of the RV instead of the front of the RV. So what I try to do is I try to flush out that freshwater tank as much as possible. I only have maybe a quart of antifreeze in there. I don't put very much, but I do put just enough to make sure that the plastic lines running from the water tank to the pump and to the bypass valves has antifreeze in it for the winter. You can see I kind of got a little ditch thing going on here just to help the water get a little bit closer to where it needs to be, which is down in this area. So drain the freshwater tank, then I'm going to close that valve up and I'm going to fill the freshwater tank, and then I'm going to drain it one more time. Then at that point I'll fill the freshwater tank again, then go inside and open the line going to the water pump. But before I run the water pump, I'll open this out here. I'd rather it circulate as much antifreeze out this shower head, which we don't really use that much, instead of inside the camper. Then what I'll do is I'll come back here and I'll flip this open, which I know this is, I'm gonna maybe spray some lubricant in there. I'll open this safety valve and I'll let the hot water tank fill. But I want to make sure I get all possibility of antifreeze out of the system before I fill that hot water tank. So that'll happen last. I do want to point something out. Whenever you're filling your tank, look inside to make sure you don't have a little hole. I don't know if you can tell in there. I'll see if I can get close enough, but I doubt it. There's a little hole in the upper left-hand corner, and that's the vent that goes to the tank. Make sure that your vent is working and your hose is not kinked going to the vent. And make sure that whatever hose that you use to fill up the tank doesn't seal not only the fill hole, but the vent hole too. The reason being is you can blow that tank up a considerable amount inside to where it would possibly start leaking just with the pressure from your house, from the water pressure. Last flush here of the freshwater tank, and you can see the Yellow River by IP Freely. It's finally all getting cleaned. Looks like pretty fresh water in there now. Alright, so I've already filled this once. You can see it's filling again. It's almost full, to tell you the truth. Basically what I'm doing now is hooking up the city water hookup once that's full, just so I can have that water in the tank for us and I don't have to have this hose draped across our driveway. I'm going to take the city water, hook it up, and then run the entire system again. Now I've already flushed as much as you possibly can even imagine, half of that tank, so 20 gallons of water through all the faucets to get all the antifreeze out as much as possible. Now I'm going to do the same basically with the city water, because I don't want anything going into that hot water tank as far as antifreeze, because you always smell it then when you take a shower. We don't drink the water, but every time you take a shower you can smell it. Yeah, I definitely got it full, don't you think? I just wanted to show you guys how crazy this hot water tank bypass is. Of course, this is the bedroom. As you can see, here's the mattress up in the air. We have one of those hyperallergenic zippered covers to keep the mattress kind of nice. And then we put this cheap packing blanket over all the wood so it don't get splintered up or anything. But there's an access door here that this goes into the trunk. You can get into the trunk, you know, stuff that's in the back. And then there's this little panel here. But they've blocked it off with this, I don't know, part of the camper? I mean, I could probably cut this out, and that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do after a while, because I'm getting tired of this. The water bypass is down here. Let me see if I can get you guys down here. Maybe you can see it. Yeah, that's it right there. Isn't that crazy? And then to turn off the electric part is back here also. But yeah, that's just stupid. Stupid. So I'll leave this open, check for leaks a little bit here. But right now I'm filling the hot water tank, and hopefully some water will come out the top, and I can shut that off. Let me go check it out. We'll go around this way since that's where we need to be. Oh yeah, it's coming out already. Quite a bit. Yeah, I just checked this to make sure. Yep, no antifreeze. I don't smell any antifreeze. I lubricated this really well. You can see the safety valve's probably going to leak a little there. It's not too bad. It just had a seat. Good. Looks like the safety valve's going to live for another day. So now what I'm going to do is go inside. Actually, I could do it from out here. I just want to run some of this warm water, the hot water setting, to get any air out of the line now. Like that. And you can see why I wanted to do that, because that foamy stuff, that is definitely antifreeze. Plus, looks like that it clogs some of the passageways for the shower, so I'm gonna have to fix that too. Gosh darn it. Oh well, always something to do. Alright, so one of the most important things whenever you first break this thing out of storage, as far as the water is concerned and the septic and all that good stuff, is checking for leaks. Like I said, I'm leaving that little trap door open for the hot water tank to see if there's any leaks there. I've already went into the bathroom, checked in there. I can't find any. However, when I went back outside and was messing around, I seen a drip fall from the RV in a weird place. So I came back in here and I found that there is a pretty good sized puddle of water behind the couch. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the couch and get back there and look to see what it is. Might be something minor, but could be something serious. We'll have to check. All right, like I said, nothing major, but it is a big leak. It's all flooded here. All this is flooded. But you can see it's just the strainer has cracked. Brittle plastic, whatever the case. It's just time for a new one, which I kind of expected. I mean, you know, this thing's old, and I'm sure that pump's pretty old. So I got to find me a new strainer. I could just hook directly up to the water pump without the strainer. I kind of like the idea of having it. Look at that. The date on that strainer is 10 of 91. Oh, here comes an ambulance. Go, man, go. Now, I've got something that is a very inexpensive tool that I'm bringing with me, and it was specifically in case something like this happened in the RV. So you can get these at Harbor Freight really cheap, and I actually have one that's a little bit bigger than this, but I don't use it that much, so I thought whenever I was condensing I would just stick with the two smaller ones. But yeah, it's kind of self-explanatory when you see it, but all this is a hose pincher. Let me show you what it looks like hooked up. And I want to disconnect that hose, but there's a lot of water in that hose, plus gravity is going to force it all out too. Let me show you here. And then once you've got that baby pinched, you just do that. Now, I don't think that that's going to stop the leaking. It doesn't look like it will. Alright, so we'll go ahead and try the smaller one, see if it'll work. Yeah, the smaller one worked. I'll leave them both on there just for extra protection, but Now, once I disconnect this, you know, all the water that's in the tank, it's not going to come running out of that hose. It'll pretty much stay, you know, in the part that's being pinched off. So let's go ahead and remove this strainer and take a look at what I need to do to fix it, get a new one, rig this one up. Who knows? Hopefully you can see this. Let me turn on the light. Maybe that'll help. I doubt it though. Let's go ahead and try to put some light down on there. See if that works. So here's the strainer, and I don't know if you can tell, but yeah, it's like pushed out. It's twisted sideways and it pushed out where it broke. Now if I push it back in just like that, it looks like it might be salvageable, believe it or not. So what I got to do is figure out a way to secure the strainer onto the housing. And again, all I got to do is just buy a new strainer. They're not very expensive. I mean, you guys probably think I'm a real cheapskate, but I'm just seeing what I can get away with, tell you the truth. So let's go ahead and see if we can pull this thing out so I can show you what it looks like. Basically what you do is you just twist this strainer, and the strainer then pops out and you can clean it. You can get out whatever you may have pumped by accident. And you can see there's not that much in there. It's pretty clean. That's why I'm saying you can kind of get away with this without having a strainer, but it's nice to have new ones. Made in the USA. I wonder if the next one that I get will say made in the USA. Tomorrow's Sunday. I don't know any of the shops that are open. I don't want this couch sitting out this way. But you can see it just pushes back down inside. Then once it's in there, you just twist it to secure it. Now here's the problem, you know, some of these places that's supposed to be secured here and here have broken. Let me see what I can come up with and I'll come back. Okay, so in all of my cheapitude, if that's even a word, I went ahead and rigged this up. You can see what I did. I just drilled some really small holes and ran some wire through there and twisted it to keep those pieces together and not allowing that to exert itself outwards. So we'll have to see how well this works. It might not. I don't want to have a big puddle back there, but it should show up pretty much right away. So let's go ahead and put this thing back together and see if it works. Well, you can see there's air in the line. Let's go ahead and run one of the faucets. Alright, so no leaks. So far so good, and looks like it's pretty solid in there. Nothing at all I can feel anywhere, so yeah, that might have worked. Like I said, it's a rig job, but you know, you do what you got to do, and I don't have to do this. I could buy a new strainer. Like I said, they're not very expensive, but I have a tendency to want to fix things instead of just replace them. Makes the difference in being a mechanic versus a parts changer. Now I will leave the couch off for the time being, and I'm going to go back and check the hot water tank to make sure there's no leaks back there before I close that panel and put the mattress back down on the bed. But I think we're good to go as far as the water is concerned. Now, being that it's Ohio and we have 10 days of good weather with lows not dropping very low, it's pretty typical, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if we have 3 days of freezing to where I have to be concerned about everything having water in it. But for the most part, the day's highs are high enough, and whenever it does get below freezing, it's like a low. It's a valley. It gets there and then it goes right back up again. I think that's it today. This video's gone on quite long enough, but what a great day. We're getting ready for camping, and hopefully we can keep going in the direction that we are with a lot of our stuff here. Yeah, I'd sure like to go camping. I would have been camping this weekend, but I just got too much work going on with that website and Heidi's work and my son's schedule. So all that's going to get taken care of soon, though, and then we'll be out there enjoying ourselves. As always, guys, we hope to see you out there. Bye.